The primary aim of School of Startups when I started it was as a teaching enterprise. We thought of ourselves as people who teach because the gap I saw in the market and the need I saw unfulfilled was that a lot of people start businesses without the requisite knowledge. I strongly believe that most people, if they want to be, can be entrepreneurs. And furthermore, that there's a great deal that they can learn that is not taught. I think there are traits that make people successful leaders, but I think leaders are not necessarily managers, and managers are not necessarily leaders. They're not interchangeable. We don't get to choose to be leaders. We are leaders because people choose to follow us. Therefore, the real question is why do people follow someone? And it's been my experience, people follow someone because they believe in them. They believe in their vision, and they believe in their capacity to execute upon that vision. It is belief. So what makes a great leader? A great leader is somebody who can, in fact, have a great idea and, more importantly, communicate and share that an idea in a way that make others want to follow. If you look at a long enough period, say post-World War II to now, the requirement that people choose to follow somebody has become more and more important as work life has changed. It's much more fluid, we have much more liquid marketplaces, people do not have job security, which means they have an obligation to own their own careers, which means they have the right to make choices, and those things mean they get to vote for whom they follow, whereas 50 years ago it wasn't the case. So this is becoming more and more important as a leadership quality. And so I think it's changed tremendously, and I don't think we're done. I think it's actually going to become even more the case. Probably the person that most quickly springs to mind is Elon Musk. I have lots of time for Elon Musk. I don't know Elon Musk. I'm confident he doesn't know me, but I love the scope of his ambitions. I love the fact that he is completely unafraid to lay out visions that are so far outside the current dialogue that he renormalizes the dialogue. He moves the whole conversation to a different place because he is so clearly, assertively ambitious, and he's had so much success, and he invests right to the hilt every time. What's not to admire? I think there's only 2 or 3 key things I'd call out. The first is I work with a small group of people. I do not work alone. I am not somebody who sits on top. I both like working with a small team of people around me as colleagues, not as employees, and I am much more successful. My extremely bad ideas get muted, my extremely good ideas get celebrated, other people's very good ideas are now participants in the conversation, and I am as lopsided as everyone else, and I need to be offset by other people with rather different qualities. So that is absolutely number 1. Number 2, everybody knows who's the boss. You don't need to turn it into some sort of totemic, symbolic thing. Therefore, you don't need a big fat office. You don't need to be isolated in a corner. All you're doing is removing yourself from the daily hubbub of your own business. I would say, despite all the evidence to the contrary, all around them, the best way to become successful is to pay your dues. You have to go work for other people to understand how to work for yourself. I do not believe that somebody should wake up one morning at 18 or at 21 or at 22 with no life experience and simply go say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Yes, there are success stories all around us, but they're still a fraction of a fraction. We celebrate them so much, we ignore the fact that the vast majority of successful entrepreneurs have worked for others.